Got it. Okay. Redirecting you to done. Okay, let me get Alicia on here. Admit. Hey, Alicia.
Hello.
Can you see me?
Hi.
I can. Can you see
Okay.
me?
No, but I will. Yes, I can now. And did you get something that says that we're live streaming right now?
I did.
Does it? Oh, and it still says live in the corner. Sorry, our internet sucks right now, so I'm working off of my phone. And that's what's going on. And Courtney's on the road, and you can see each other now, probably like the cute little phone icon.
Yes.
Alicia, not to put you on the spot, because since Courtney's on the road, is there any way you could do the notes for this meeting?
Of
Or
course.
is you? Thank you. Sorry. Or else you could have fought each other for the really exciting opportunity to do it.
Yeah,
But it seems
could
like
have
the
been a
default.
brawl.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't hear from Naomi other than the email she sent us earlier, so I would assume it's a no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
family
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was supposed to be home like right before the call, but they did their favorite fun new thing of, oh my God, we landed on time and like they're not ready for us at the gate. And I'm like, I want to talk to whoever's scheduling these flights.
Can
for
I
these
AD
airports.
this airport?
Yeah, I'm like, who's in charge here? Because that makes absolutely no sense. So we just sat there for like half an hour, and I was like, get me off this plane right now.
Man.
But that seems to be a new theme. But yeah, I would like to talk to whoever's eating JFK.
I
Agreed.
remember arriving once in Seattle and they wouldn't let us off the plane. They were like, "Oh, yeah, they didn't know we were coming.
What?
There's no gate agent, so we're gonna have to wait a bit." And we stayed on the plane like an extra 45 minutes.
Oh my God, that's so annoying. But it's like, how? I'm sorry,
Right.
how do you not know?
Right. That was my question.
Like, oh my
Like,
God, what? Oh my God, there's a plane out there. Like, yes, you are an airport. This is how it works. What's happening?
like, where did you guys come from?
Yeah, it's like we didn't just like drive up the road to see if you were home. Like, this is an
Right.
airport. This is like a major international airport. So that's how it's gonna happen. Keep happening, guys. Figure it out.
No, there should be, because I've heard it's all down to like weird lack of communication between different airport companies, right? It's like there's no whatever. I'm like talking out of turn, but it's like this weird bureaucracy bullshit that is causing these issues. Someone explained it to me once. Alicia, you would know way more than I would. But okay, anyway. Alicia, I liked the agenda that you proposed. If everyone is down for it, I don't think we need half the meeting to talk about the document that I shared, but that feels like excessive attention on me. But if anyone has any thoughts on, I mean, I can set it up really briefly, but I've been having these meetings with producers, and I think I'm a little worried I've been a snake oil salesman or something, because halfway through like our third producers meeting, she's like, what we're talking about feels like the same conversations I have in all my productions. And so I thought, okay, are we not being radical? And so I shared the Film Utopia document, which we can share with whoever is watching these live streams, which is really just my friend Amy. Let me know your thoughts, I guess, as well.
I have thoughts, actually.
Okay.
Because I saw the email and was like, okay. In theory, this is an interesting question. But then the more I thought about it, the angrier I got, because I feel like this whole thing of like, oh, you're not being radical enough, you're not doing enough, is it's like just making art in general in the first place is radical, for one. And I just feel like it's something that's thrown at particularly minorities, saying like, oh, you're not doing enough, you're not doing enough, like you should be solving the problems that you're also overcoming. And that drives me insane. It's like nothing's ever enough, but then the people who are just chilling in the status quo aren't really being come after in the same way because they're not accessible to be asked that question. And it just is very annoying. It's like really frustrating. And it's like doing it because it's sure you can sit around and talk about, radical thoughts and radical ideas and radical ways to do and change things all day long. But to actually do that and put it into practice and make something, I think make it like it's in the creation itself that's already a radical act. Like you're creating something that did not exist out of literally thin air. And you're creating these jobs and you're creating these opportunities. So I just feel like discrediting someone doing the work is like, sure, there's probably more radical ways, but how are you putting these into practice? And also to like accuse someone of not being radical enough, but then not offer an alternative of like, here's another way, or here's a more radical way to do it. It just feels so counterintuitive and frustrating because I feel like so many people just get stuck on the conversation part and are like, oh, I have a better system. And it's like, have you done it? Have you tried it? Did it work? Did you make a case study? Did you share how you did it? And yeah, that just makes me feel a little crazy because I feel like that happens so often where it's just easiest to judge and sort of crush people trying to do things on the scale that is accessible to them. And yeah, so that question makes me kind of angry. And I think that doing the work is already so much more than most people are doing. And to discredit that effort, I think it's kind of rude, personally.
Well,
and that's my
I
hot
really
take.
appreciate that. That's one of my love languages in addition to time is someone defending the efforts that we've done. So I really appreciate that perspective. I do want to say that I think I set this producer up to sound more negative than she was. She mainly was like, draw up exactly what you want this world to be and we'll make it happen. And maybe she felt like I wasn't like that I was making concessions in the conversation, which I might have been. I tend to do that. But I think, but Courtney, it was such a rallying cry that what you just said. So just thank you. It's like, I really adore your passion.
Oh, great. Yeah. Well, I think too, it's part of that, like the whole selling everything as an overnight success and like, ooh, this worked, this magically worked, or like this came together this way without showing all the hard parts. Because sometimes you do have to make concessions, and that's also an important part of the process as well. Like if you just go around being like, I'm right, I'm radical, like, okay, cool. But then again, like you still have to do the thing, and it's a group. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'd be curious to see what the different versions of what was being proposed versus what the utopian sort of world looks like that she wants to try to create. But I feel like getting stuck on trying to make everything perfect, it's like it has to be done in steps. And that's so overwhelming to be like, okay, we have to create a new world order overnight. It's like on this one film, like that's so much pressure to put on one project. And I think that's what's nice about this about Story Made is that it's like 4 people, 4 perspectives, 4 projects, trying different things in different ways to kind of compare notes and say, okay, this is what we did, this is what we wish we could have done, this is what we learned, and making that part of it as well. I think that part in itself is kind of radical. Like not that many people are willing to be like, this part was really hard, this thing failed, like in this way. And to say you're going to do that up front and then actually follow through on that's pretty radical, because usually that's not the sexy part that sells the story. So yeah, so I'm not necessarily mad at this one particular person. I just feel like that's a comment that like happens a lot where people are like, oh, well, you could have done more. It's like, well, okay, cool, but I did something, Because that's in it's in like making art, it's in climate change, it's in so many things where it's like no one's going to do anything if you're constantly being criticized for the actions that you're taking not being important enough. And I think that just causes people to be inactive, and that's not helping anyone. So, yeah.
Hell yeah. +1 on everything that Courtney just said. Like, I feel like that was a mini TED Talk and I love it. And I want to say, I really love the question of, am I being radical enough? Because first you have to sit down and think about what being radical actually means to you. And Liz, you get to define what is radical, not anybody else. You get to define what that means for this project. So if there's just one new thing that you want to try, that is being radical, because number one, it's your project to do with what you will. And number two, trying, like Courtney said, doing any one thing differently. One, getting it made in the first place is radical, and doing any one thing differently just adds to that. So what is the one thing that you want to do, or the two things, however many things you want to do? It doesn't matter. But the point is that you get to define that and not anyone else.
Yeah.
And also, you know, a part of what we're doing, which is something Courtney was just alluding to, is we are iterating on an idea. So we're not trying to solve the problem overnight. That is an impossible task. And it does lead, if we did try it that way, we would absolutely fail. So picking a small thing to try it out, test it, see how it goes, get that data back. Is it worth it? Did it work? What can be done better? Should it be tried again, or should it just be put to the side? And then you can try it again, or now the knowledge is out there for somebody else to try again. That level of transparency, the level to try something small and be completely transparent about it, is also a radical act. So we can look at being radical through a lot more lenses than I think people are typically ready to look at it through.
I love all that. And I'm taking notes. And I was just remembering another part of the conversation where I wanted to shoot in clusters so that I could edit the film in between and get some distance and kind of take breathers in between blocks of our shooting schedule. And I talked to our cinematographer, and she was really worried about working with day players, and she wanted a consistent crew. And so then I was like, okay, well, what if we do a 40-day shoot, but we take days off and we have half days and we have an editor on set? And I remember relaying this to the producer, and I think that might have triggered her thinking things were radical enough, because I really did immediately bend to someone that I care about, that I want to work with, my cinematographer, to find like a middle ground, instead of sticking with conviction to this idea that there should be like concrete breathing room in between the shoot, so that we could all have distance and like look at things from a bird's eye view. So this is not
collaborating. That's like,
yeah, I guess
that's how you collaborate with a team. Yeah, you're not coming and being like, no, this is the radical way to do it. Like, we're not listening to your ideas. Like, I know that you run crews all the time, but you don't know. I know better than you about how to run a crew. Like, that's crazy. That's like what that's what the film is like collaborating with people who have different skill sets. Like, sounds bananas to be like, well, not the DP. Like, what?
And I want to make the key crew happy. Like, that is a radical idea.
Well, if I could add to that.
Yeah.
I think that what you're saying about the producer is really interesting. If what she was observing is that you sort of gave up too quickly on the things that you wanted, without pushing further to find a solution that could potentially work. And so I think there's merit to investigating if that's what's happening, is if someone is giving you pushback and you immediately fall back into doing it the way that it's always been done, or if you are taking at least one or two more steps and saying, I understand that this can be difficult, but I would like to investigate if we can make it work. And if through the
Yeah.
investigation, it's like, no, there's no way to make it work, then okay, then you did your due diligence.
Yeah. I think that might be a part of it. I have a hard time like looking back and figuring out the chain of events that leads to something. So like her saying it wasn't radical really stuck out of my mind, but there's like a big murky area right before being, oh, Courtney's gone, but hopefully she'll come back soon. Like the logical chain of events is lost to me. So I'm just trying to figure that out. And it takes me a while to figure that kind of stuff out. So I have a feeling that it was because she was actually defending me in like a wonderful, beautiful way. And thank you for saying that. I'm sure Courtney will come back in a second, but if you looked at the document, which I don't expect anyone to have, if there's anything on there that seemed particularly exciting, it would be great to hear, because I'm losing sight of what's cool at this point. Like, I don't know what's cool anymore, because all of it seems cool to me, but I don't even know what would seem like dramatically interesting anymore.
Well, I want to say, yes, I did look at it. I'd have to look at it again to sort of pick out the things that, stand out to me the most off the top of my head. On-set childcare was, to me, the thing that excited me, even though I'm someone that doesn't, I'm not a parent, but I just found that that's something that's so important that would free so many people up to do the work that they want to do. And it's not something that I've really heard about happening on a film set. But outside of that, I would say, like, again, it goes back to this idea of like, what's exciting enough. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what's exciting enough. What matters is, what do you want to do? What is most important to you, and what is the experience that you are trying to craft for yourself? And can you list those things in order of importance to you? Because knowing what's important to you will let you know where you can give and where you cannot.
I think that will be helpful to my producers. And welcome back, Courtney.
Hi, sorry, I got kicked off.
No worries. I'm just, I like what you said, Alicia, about triaging the list, so to speak. How do I do this? No, don't mute me. Don't mute me. Okay,
You're
I'm not
not
muted. You
muted.
can hear me. I'm like of the generation where the phone is confusing still. Like the computer is safe, but the phone is confusing. Well, okay, this leads me to my next point, and probably my final point, because I really wanted to turn this into a more of a group call, and probably you two do too. Is I've been talking up our process. I've been like, the four of us have been meeting for like a year at this point. Actually, I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a long time. Weekly. And then Naomi and I have been talking since the beginning of the pandemic, and we did the incubator, and I have all of this context to onboard them. But I really feel like they should meet you three. Like, if I'm the first film to go, which is debatable at this point because Courtney may already have her feature, but like, if I'm one of the first to go, and we are supposed to be consolidating resources to lower overhead for all these productions, like, I feel like my producers need to have a touchstone for what StoryMade is. That's not just me, but I don't want to create more meetings for all of us. I mean, maybe I just send them these videos, but do you feel like our teams should be corresponding with each other? Like, how do we make sure that we allocate resources economically between us without producers getting involved?
Go ahead, Courtney.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like there's two separate things happening in that conversation. And the first is number one, being able to effectively tell people what StoryMade is.
Yeah.
And that goes along with the other things that we're going to talk about, which is how do we actually officially launch StoryMade? How do we share what our guiding principles are? And doing that, of course, different teams can meet at different points, if it depends on what is the purpose for the meeting.
Yeah.
Right. If the purpose for the meeting is just to be like, well, here's the other people in StoryMade. So this is what StoryMade is about. Like, I don't know that we necessarily need a meeting for that.
No, that's a waste. Yeah. Waste of time.
Like that's what a webinar is for. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if the point is just to get across what StoryMade is about, because we're each our own advocates when it comes to what StoryMade is to our teams. But I think we have to do a better job of creating some different kind of content, not like videos or anything like that, but just a proper, like maybe one sheet or something that's like, this is what our guiding principles are.
Or the website being more instructive in some way.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest way to have it all in one place. But I was pretty much going to say the same thing, I think, too, because we need to sort of talk about how the projects overlap in terms of resources as well. And I know that's part of the conversation we want to have around the launch and everything, which maybe we should wait till all four of us are on for the launching plans. So that is something
we can brainstorm here. I think
true.
it might be safe to brainstorm.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's such a good segue to the other agenda item is yes, how do we communicate it? And I've just been like sending people the guiding principles, the link to the StoryMade, the YouTube channel, my Patreon page, and then my newsletter, the newsletter they sent out that explained the it's so, and then I call it homework, which really just makes people feel great about having to look at it. So it's just like a lot of stuff.
I think having a website that has everything kind of broken down in one place, I think is the easiest because then people can sort of decide what they want to look at or read on their own without feeling some kind of obligation to look at all the things or, I've mostly just been telling people in word. I haven't really sent anyone anything on it. I usually just kind of talk in like a pitch kind of way about StoryMade to people. Although, no, I got, because Jordan Angelia, who I worked with on the maybe feature shoot, I just talked to them both individually about it. And I'd told them about it too, so they already were like aware of what it was. But I guess I didn't send anyone any resources necessarily, but having a website as it kind of grows and we get more into production and so forth, it would be good. I think it's really just the easiest way to say, like, here it is. Look at what you want.
I was thinking about having like an email launch series for people who subscribe to the website, and perhaps for those of us with newsletters, making it a part of an email series in our own newsletters where I want to introduce you to StoryMade. This is what it's about, and then have 7 emails, and they each just say a little bit about each of our guiding principles.
I like that.
Yeah.
But that does feel like a long runway, right? Is that one?
I mean, it's 7 emails, it's, you can send them once a day, and it's automated, you know what I mean? So it's not like it's just a matter of writing the 7 emails, and they don't have to be anything lengthy,
No, that makes more sense. If it's once a day, I always do I don't do anything more than once a week, and mainly I usually do once a month. So this would be like, gear up. We're increasing the frequency, and that's all. If we want, that's great.
And it doesn't have
Like
to
that.
be like a regular thing. Like now, from now on, you're getting an email once a day, but it's just like for this thing over the next few days, I want to tell you about this new thing I'm a part of called Story Made. And I'm going to give you 7 emails that you have to look forward to. And I look forward to having a discussion with them, you know, something like that.
Nice. Like that.
Yeah.
I thought Courtney was about to say, there we go.
Was gonna what?
I thought you were going to say something, and you did, and you are. So
I
will
did,
stop
and
talking.
I spoke. Yes, I was muting because it's very loud. I don't know how loud it is coming through on your end, but yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah,
Do we
I
have,
guess it's 2 parts too, like the launch aspect and then the resource aspect or the overlap as well with the projects, because you mentioned something about that too. So
Mhm.
I guess that's another agenda item.
the resource aspect is really important. I think we're going to need a new website, honestly.
Yeah.
Which I have some ideas about that. I mean, we could do like a Squarespace type of deal, right? But I'm
Yeah.
also, and I think I mentioned this before, about Obsidian, the sort of software app, and they do allow you to publish. And something that I really like about Obsidian is that we could essentially create our own wiki and use that as a website instead of just like a Squarespace sort of deal. Ultimately, it would cost about the same as Squarespace does.
Yeah.
I'm super open to either one. And
I
mean-
I don't know what Obsidian is, but it's a cool name. So I'm sold on that. Yeah.
And the purpose of the wiki would be so that essentially we can tell our own story, but it easily relinks to other resources, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you, let's say you're writing something about, let's say I don't know, you write up like a production note, and you're talking about the struggles with having on-set childcare and what you learned and something like that, and it could potentially link back to like what guiding principle that aligns with, and then that links back to all of the other things we've talked about that align with that guiding principle or whatever, or like whatever resources you utilized to make it happen. You know what I mean? So the possibilities are infinite.
I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm just thinking about.
Didn't really. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Go on.
Oh, I didn't actually understand what wiki really meant until just now. I'm realizing. Now
I'm thinking that Naomi and I were co-writing this article at first, right, about the launch of Story Made, and then she wrote the first draft, and she's really taken it and run with it, and she's doing this like white paper, and she sent me the first draft, and I think it's maybe 10 to 20 pages. It's very long, but it's amazing, and she's so excited about it. But what you just said, Alicia, kind of feels like the density of the resources we're offering needs something like this, right? It's like, sure, we could relink to a Google Drive or a Dropbox that has a bunch of things, but if we can, I'm starting to see like the mapping that you're doing that I feel makes more sense, because I think we have a true density of educational materials to share throughout this process.
Yes, exactly. And something that I noticed a lot of people doing with Obsidian as well is the idea of, or specifically with having like a personal knowledge management system, is the idea of learning in public. And that's
Mm.
exactly what we're doing. And so it's not like necessarily all of the notes that they put up are like, this is the finite word on what I have to say about this thing. But it's understood that this is me learning in public, and this note, maybe this page will change. And as I learn,
Mhm.
the page will change and you
Mm.
will learn along with me, and you get to see that process.
I love that. I really love that. Um, can we pause that for a second? Because I feel like
Yes.
now we don't, that feels like we're at a point where Naomi really will have something. I mean, I actually feel like she'll be like, I love it. But
That's a pretty good estimation.
just like easier to do it. But I think we'll see. But going back to the sharing of resources, it's like, Courtney, you may have made an entire feature not benefiting from the production resources overlap, which I mean, is
Mhm.
not the end of the world. But is there something that you feel you would have wanted to utilize from us?
Oh, I mean, I guess I don't know what. Probably. I don't know what, like, I don't know what resources would be. I guess I'm not sure how we would, because I know we talked about at one point like fundraising sort of being overlapping, maybe to some extent, and then, I mean, I guess like equipment and stuff, it's too late. But I guess any post stuff, I don't really know what it would look like, I guess. So it's hard to say.
Well, that's kind of where I'm stuck, is like we keep talking about insurance and equipment,
Right.
but like
Yeah.
I think all of us kind of know we have friends and colleagues who can kind of do us favors, and there are
Mhm.
worlds where people have donated equipment, and it's I wonder, and also it's like I have a producer I'm thinking of coming on board who has her own production company and has production insurance that we can have access to, so it's kind of like, what is the most impactful way for all of us to save money together? I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
if it is getting equipment at this point, and I do agree co fundraising makes a lot of sense, but we've seemed to all be in, that seems very difficult and has been slow going for all of us to really um, enact or germinate, or I don't even, other words for start. Um, so that's the other thing with the producers gap is like, I know all of us are producers to a degree, but to have kind of like a producers think tank where they're like, these are the things that are most expensive in production, how do we
Yeah.
ameliorate these steps for everyone? That's like I feel like I'm missing that. Like, I don't know what's the hardest stuff to make easier for everyone.
Are you suggesting we have a producers think tank with other people?
I think so. I mean, I'm kind of going to be doing something similar. Like my one of my a member of my team did a budget, and then everyone else on the team started to audit that budget when she went out of town and just started asking
Mhm.
questions. And it became like a little bit chaotic because like one person would be like, "Why are you spending $3,000 on accounting software?" And another person's like, "Well, we have to buy Quicken, and that costs $3,000. So it makes sense that she would put this as a line item." And there's just like
Mhm.
this chaotic debate, but we're going to come together and talk about the budget that she made, and we're going to adjust it to our production. I don't think we can make that public. Like, that feels dangerous to like live stream that or to record
Yeah.
that.
Public's
But it
probably
does
not
feel
great
like,
for that.
but the takeaways feel
I'm sorry,
valuable for
Courtney,
us.
I didn't hear you. What did you say?
Oh, I just said, yeah, public probably isn't not great for that particular aspect, but yeah, like for the budget, it doesn't really work. But for a lot of things, yeah. Although I guess it becomes
Yeah.
a question too of like how many cooks do you need in the kitchen for each aspect? Like when, I guess sort of like where is it helpful and where is it just creating more work or more
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like my big overarching gonna be like the next 3 years that I put on myself. I've imposed this problem on myself. I've created it. But maybe there's a world where we record that session in 4 of us. We just
Liz, you're
share a
moving in
takeaway
slow
from it.
motion.
Oh no, can you hear me?
I can
Is it-
hear you. Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
Now you're frozen
the
completely.
internet. Of course I am. I'm going to turn camera off, and maybe that'll make life easier for everyone. But is that knowledge helpful for everyone else if we share what we think are the things that we need? I don't know, like the things that we need to reduce our spend on.
Mhm.
It just feels so film specific that maybe I'm basically talking myself out of it right now. How is fundraising the most important thing that we do as a team in order to ensure each other's success?
I mean,
Fundraising is really important, yes, but I also feel like our projects are in such different stages,
Yeah.
and we all might be going about this in very different ways than we initially anticipated. And I don't know that it's a question that can be answered fully right now. I think co-fundraising would be great. I think we need more information.
Who's Courtney again? I agree. We've got 2 Courtneys.
yay.
Hello.
I'm no longer in
Oh, and we got video.
I should have done my TED talk like this.
Rallying cry. I mean, distribution feels obvious. That feels like the obvious, like, just because I know it so well, I'm like, oh, I can really help everyone out on my end with what I'm doing for the distribution for this film. But like, none of us are going to be like, I found an investor. Do you want them? Like, no one's ever going to do that. So I'm trying to figure out how to offer value to my producers and be like, well, I'm part of this collective and we're doing this together. And the whole point is to make our lives easier by working together as a group. But I'm not offering anything specific. And maybe I just have to say, we don't know yet. We don't know yet. We don't know the value of it quite yet.
Yeah.
Other than knowledge, which is very valuable.
Maybe,
Yeah.
I mean, there's something to like part of collectives in general that is valuable is also just having a kind of community and the support system of being like, hey, this person said I'm not radical enough. Like, what do you think? Just to have conversation that's like not in your own head and it's not necessarily linked to your project, I think is really valuable too. Like that sounding, but I just co-directed something which was like very scary going into. It was like, oh, I don't know how it's gonna work out. But we have very different backgrounds, so it worked out really great, and we came to things from different perspectives, which is helpful to be like, okay, let me talk out loud about this thing. Like, does that sound like a good, or like, is there a good idea in here? And that is super valuable to have people whose opinions you trust that you can be like, right, and then get an answer instead of just being like, I feel like this is right, but you can't always do that with the production team you're working with either, depending on the project. I don't know. So that's valuable too. It's not, money, but it definitely makes the process a lot easier, I think, as humans.
I agree. I'm so sorry. My son is smushing his face underneath the bottom of the door and then yelling at me. So that's so sorry. I agree. And for what it's worth, you may appreciate that we have a Discord channel where
Yay! Look at you.
so if anyone else wants to join the Discord party, we could always have a Discord consolidation. I'm just going to turn this on mute. This is no one cares about this point. I mean, you care, but you get it. You get
I
it.
definitely care. I would like to join the Discord just to see how you're operating it on Discord.
Happy to. Right now, it's just one that says, well, we need to create a channel that's like script feedback. Like we need to, but right now it's like production chat or something. It's very vague. And then we do a lot of private messaging. So we're not really using Discord to its advantage.
And it's just your
yeah.
team doing that right now?
Right now, it's just a few producers and me and Amy, the co-writer, but I think we'll be bringing in crew, but I'm trying to get crew to talk to producers first so that and then we're trying to adjust the contracts and make them shorter and more transparent and less legalese. Like there's a lot of tasks we put out in front of us before I can be like, please use your emotional labor to join this Discord channel. So
Please join
it'll
us.
be expanded soon.
The emotional labor of joining a Discord channel. That's so intense.
It's a really
I'm
intense
overthinking
Discord.
things. I'm very much overthinking things at this point, but I think maybe it'll calm down. I'll calm down on myself in like 2 weeks when I'm like, everyone needs to be in the Discord. Everyone's got to be in it.
Have you had resistance from anyone who maybe wasn't on Discord and you asked them to join it?
Oh, I mean, just like I would say 2 people like just didn't even take the link and log in. So yeah. But that's fine. They're not even no one's officially part of the project yet. I mean, like I kind of have like 3 producers that I had side channel conversations with, and I was like, I think it's the 3 of us who feel really committed to this, and they're like, yeah, we feel that way too, and then we're trying to build like that capital P producer core, and then we're gonna go and fold in everyone else. And something that I'm trying to pilot is the idea of having capital P producers and then calling everyone else by exactly what they're doing. So they're going to be like music clearance producer, SAG producer, locations producer, like, so that there isn't this mislabeling or confusion. Sorry. Okay. He's just saying wake up. He's just saying wake up over and over again. I'm just gonna mute this sucker for a minute. And I lost the mute button because I am a jerk.
Oh, did you find? There you go.
Okay.
What's next on the agenda to talk about?
Well, it sounds like we need to do the holiday schedule.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And Naomi said she was free next Sunday, and I am as well, but it is a holiday week, so I don't know if we should presume if anyone wants to take it off, they should take it off.
The 27th.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think yes, I would like to. Actually, or the one after. I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm traveling again. Whoops, but yeah, I'm going abroad again. Sorry, this is not normally my life.
So you say.
Yeah, we've heard like different.
I feel like I keep saying that, but it's,
yeah.
Okay, maybe this is my life.
Acceptance is part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, the first step is acceptance. I travel a lot. Yes, so I'm going to France, but it's like a vacation, which is wild. Like, we'll see how long that lasts. But yes, to like visit and see people, because I said I was gonna go visit this summer and then never did, and now it's the end of the year. I'm like, oh, well, and no, there's not really any work over Thanksgiving, so that's usually a good time to escape and go see all the
Are
friends.
you going the 27th? Are
I
you
leave.
going next weekend?
I leave. Well, so I leave on Tuesday night, so
Oh,
get back on a plane in 2 days, like an insane person. And then I come back on the 4th. Well, right now my plan is to come back to New York on the 4th, but I'm holding for a shoot in LA the first week of December. So there's a chance I'm going to go back to LA the 4th or coming back. And then I just don't know what the date is, but the 4th, currently the flight that I have, it crosses over our, like I'll be flying during our call. So the 27th I could do, it'll just be a weird time, but that's fine. I'll be up anyway. And then the 4th is just the one I can't do, or we could move it to another time. Although there's like a 50% chance I have to change that flight anyway. Which is
well,
not.
Alicia, can you do the 27th, or do you want it? Feel free to impose the desire thing too. 'cause
Yes,
that's
I would
important.
like a break on the 27th.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just take it off the calendar entirely, and because both of you can't do the 27th anyway, right? So it doesn't even matter. Okay, so I'm going to take off the 27th. I heard that right, Courtney, right? The 27th.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
the
could-
7th you could do, but you were like,
27th, it's probably, I think it's this calendar's an LA time. So 4 + 9. It's like 1 a.m. So not ideal.
no, okay. All right, I'm taking it off the calendar. Yeah, don't volunteer for that. That's nice of you, but no.
It's like
Okay,
I can
so-
be here. It's 1 in the morning. I got this. Someone just has to. is
And
the-
Naomi will see this video, so she'll know what she missed, and she'll, or if she doesn't, then we'll report back to her. And it sounds like the 4th you can't do.
I can't.
Um,
Yeah, the 4th I probably can't do, but if you want to wait until I'm supposed to get a confirmation for those dates after Thanksgiving, so like probably that first Monday I should know, because the deliverables for the 14th. So I was like, pretty short window, guys. So I should know like Monday or next, or well, yeah. So if you want to keep it as it is, and then I can let you know if I can make it or not. Once I find out after Thanksgiving, that's fine too.
okay. Do you want to just email us when you
Yeah.
know, then
Yeah, I should
then
know
Naomi
that.
will be aware.
Cool. That works.
And
Yay.
Officially, no meeting on Christmas. Let's
Is that a
just say it.
Sunday?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
It's a Sunday.
I will take that off. Take it
And
off.
New Year's,
Oh yeah, they're both on
Okay.
Sunday.
New Year's Day.
Naomi's gonna look at her email and be like,
It's like we just
cancel,
canceled
cancel,
everything.
cancel.
It's like, Naomi, you missed a meeting and the whole thing went up in flames. So
That's
we'll
it. No
figure
more
out when
story
to-
made. You missed one meeting.
you couldn't
The logo
save
just
it.
couldn't hold us
Only-
together.
Do we want to just take those to, yeah, sorry, ignore me. I don't know what's wrong with me. Everyone on this trip, this she we were just on was like, hey, about and they were like, you're in charge, right? And I was like, no, not really. Because I kept being like, okay, like what else? They were like, sit down, stop, stop, just take wherever, sit down. I was like, okay, sorry. Like yeah. Someone we met the last day was like, how old are your kids? And I was like, I don't have kids. And they're like, oh, someone was said you're a mom. And I was like, no, they call me mom. Like the easier calling me mom. Shoot. I was like, you're actually my boss. So we can take those off. It'll be fine. I'll find other ways to entertain myself.
Well, I mean, I think if we want to do makeup sessions, we can. And please don't ever apologize for taking charge. I love how we each take charge in various different ways in this group. It's very exciting when I see that. I don't know, but but I personally don't want to lose 2 weeks,
Mhm.
full weeks of not meeting. But I understand that some people want to take a 2-week vacation, but I'm down to meet with whoever still wants to meet at some point during those 2 weeks. Throwing
Maybe
that
we
out there.
can look
Yeah.
at what if next week or whatever the next week is, we talk about the launch. If we sort of cement kind of what the launch stuff looks like, maybe there's kind of like homework stuff we can be doing on that
Yeah.
2 weeks off, so that it can be on everyone's own time around whatever family or travel commitments and stuff, and then can be more of email each other things based on that. So it's not
Mhm.
off, but it's not you have to be here.
Yeah. As
Or
long as there's some sort of maintenance, I'm on board for whatever it is.
okay.
That sounds good.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. Shall we do, we have 9 minutes left. Shall we do accountability?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I can't access what last week's was. Can anyone access it? And I'll try to. Someone just might beat me to it. And it should be under the November 13th meeting notes. Why did you do that to me, computer? Okay. Hmm. I mean, I don't know if I've shared them with you. Do you guys have it? Because I'm gonna share it. You can't share it in the chat, but if you, I'll share it with you directly. Okay, Constantine, Courtney, Naomi. Send.
Okay. I got it.
Oh, cool.
I
Okay.
think
I didn't give
that was
myself.
11:13.
Yeah, you're in it. I'm wearing the same thing. But I didn't give myself anything to do. So I'm fully accountable for that.
Great. What did I say? Oh,
Uh, Baby Moon script notes and brain trust for early draft.
yeah. And you
Mhm.
can send out a doodle, right? Is
Yeah.
that how we've been doing these? Okay, cool. I just need to
Unless you want to co-opt a meeting.
Oh, well, I'm not, let me see if I'm here the 4th. And if I am, maybe I can do that. And if not, then I'll send a doodle. But probably not recording for that one. And yeah, cool. Oh yeah, and that gives people an extra week to read too if we're doing Thanksgiving off. But I'm gonna reread the changes I made tomorrow or Tuesday and then send it out. So.
I lost pages on my script.
Because I mean, you worked on it, right?
I worked
So-
on it. I lost pages. I was like, oh, this doesn't feel right. Like, so I had to go back. I didn't rewrite all of it, but just trying to tweak some things. And then I've added some pages. I'm at like 23 or so. I mean, not counting the work I lost and added again.
That's great.
It's something. I'm
But
very
you were 17 before. At the last
Yes.
week you were at 17. So
Yes.
that's 6 pages.
I'm
So you know that's a big deal. 6 pages is like we get really excited if we write 6 pages. So I think you should be
six
excited
pages, I'm
about
just
6
not pleased
pages.
with it. I'm just not
Okay,
pleased
that's
with
fine.
it. And I'm trying to fight. I should do like a whole vlog on the curse of perfectionism in writing. And I'm trying to like fight myself as I write, like just get it out because I usually edit as I write. I'm trying really hard not to do that.
Oh yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah.
It's my way.
Well, I mean, I can't screw up with your process, but like I understand
It's
why
a tough way to live
it's gonna
life.
drive you crazy.
Yeah. So that's what was happening this week. But we are back on track.
Good. So it's just writing more, it sounds
It's
like.
just writing more, even though it's convincing myself to write more, even though I'm displeased with what I have written thus far.
Okay, that's good. That's like most of writing, honestly.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
her and I was like, this. Okay.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I hate it. Keep going. Like,
Yeah.
I'm working on my Film Utopia idea, but I need to do my welcome video for the Patreon. So that's I'm gonna hold myself accountable. Gotta do it. We'll
Okay.
see.
I loved your video answer.
Yeah.
I love that you answered the question in that way, specifically by doing a video. Thought that was a really great idea.
Thank you. It's so fun. It's like I really am, and TikTok is fun. I'm having a really good time. It's like finding the time to do the recording when no one is here is what takes the most amount of time.
Mm.
So that welcome video is gonna be, it's gonna have to
Yeah.
kick people out of this house. And by house, I mean box. But anyway, cool. Do anything else that we talk about?
I think we did it.
I think
We
that's
did
it.
We're heroes.
Yes, we are.
We're
Absolutely.
indie film heroes.
Yes.
Yay.
That sounds like the name
So-
of something. Is it the name of something already?
It does sound familiar.
There's
If
something,
not, we
there's
should
like a
snatch it up.
Gym Class Heroes is a band, right? Gym Class Heroes, very different, but
Mm.
indie film heroes. I called someone an indie film hero the other day.
Hmm.
They were like, they're like us. Enjoy your break. Have a good, whatever you call this holiday.
Yes, indeed.
Happy
Have a good
November.
whatever this is. Yes.
Boxing Day. Have a great Boxing Day, right? That's the day after American Thanksgiving. Have a great Boxing Day.
Yes.
Isn't that the day after Christmas?
Never mind. Have a great end of November.
Yeah. Winter snow.
No,
I don't know. Enjoy the new moon or something.
have a good new moon. Have a
Happy
solid new moon
Sagittarius,
experience.
everybody.
There we go. Happy Sagittarius. Winner.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.